Chapter 1. A peach falls from heaven. In the middle of the heavenly peach orchard, a soft breeze rustled the silver leaves. Warm sunlight streamed through branches heavy with glowing peaches, their skins golden with hints of pink. The air smelled sweet like summer after rain. Peach Fairy, also known as Tao Tao to the other immortals, was not the most powerful in the heavens. In fact, she was quite low on the immortal ranking. But she had the brightest laugh and the softest hands, perfect for tending peaches. She was humming a tune and dancing around a peach tree, her long sleeves fluttering like wings. She was trying to coax a stubborn peach to ripen faster. "Come on, little one," she whispered to the fruit. "Just a little more pink on your cheeks and I can serve you to the Jade Emperor." The peach tree shivered gently. Tao Tao closed her eyes and sent a bit of her spirit energy into the roots. She smiled. Unfortunately, at that very moment, a small bee flew into her sleeve. No stinging," she cried, flapping around and spinning like a whirlwind. In the chaos, her foot slipped, her sleeve knocked into the branch, snap, and the ripest peach on the tree dropped. Plop. It hit the grass with a soft thud. Tao Tao gasped. No, no, no. The peach rolled, and plop, it tumbled off the edge of the heavenly clouds. Silence. Then boom. Thunder clapped across the skies. A large scroll appeared in the air. It glowed with golden letters. The celestial rules had been broken. Tao Tao froze. Oh no. A few moments later, she was kneeling before the celestial court. The Jade Emperor looked tired. The Queen Mother of the West tapped her fan on her knee. "You dropped the immortal peach of destiny," the Queen Mother said flatly. "It was a bee," Tao Tao said, bowing so low her nose nearly touched the floor. "A very big one. The peach has now entered the mortal world," the Jade Emperor said. "It may affect fate, time and balance." Tao Tao gulped. "You must go down and retrieve it," the Queen Mother said. "And while you're at it, reflect on your mistakes." A golden portal opened beside her. "No magic. No powers. No wings," the Queen Mother added. "And no peaches for you until you return." Tao Tao's eyes widened in horror. "No peaches?" Before she could protest, the portal sucked her in like a whirlpool. The next thing Tao Tao knew, everything was dark. It was cold. Strange beeping sounds echoed in her ears. Beep. 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 Was she dead? No, wait. She opened her eyes slowly. A bright white light stung her eyes. A cold voice said, "The patient is stable. No signs of trauma. She just fainted again." "Typical Shen Yanyan," another voice said. "Always pretending to be weak to get attention. Ignore her. She's useless anyway." Tao Tao frowned. Who were these rude people? She turned her head. The room was white and shiny. Machines blinked. A clear bag hung beside her bed. Tubes were taped to her arm. She gasped. "Am I in the demon world?" A nurse stared. "She's awake." The doctor rushed over. "Miss Shen, can you hear me?" Tao Tao blinked. "Who is Shen?" "My name is Tao." Suddenly, a sharp pain exploded in her head. Memories flooded her mind. A girl, lonely and quiet, always ignored at dinner. A room tucked far away from the main house. Sad eyes in the mirror. The name Shen Yanyan echoed in her soul. "What?" she whispered. She had landed in a mortal body. A weak, unloved mortal girl. "Where's my peach?" she asked aloud. The doctor sighed. "She's confused again. Let's inform the Shen family." 2 hours later, Tao Tao sat on a hospital bed in a pink gown. Her long black hair was messy. She stared at the blinking machine next to her. "This world is loud," she mumbled. The door opened with a soft knock. In came a tall man in a suit, followed by a beautiful girl with sharp eyes and a fake smile. "Yanyan," the man said stiffly. "You fainted again. We had to cancel your sister's piano event because of you." Tao Tao tilted her head. "I did." The girl stepped forward. "You're so selfish. Just because you're sick doesn't mean you can ruin everything." Tao Tao blinked. "You're mean." The girl's smile cracked. "I'm Shen Yanyan's father," the man said. "Remember who you are. Don't embarrass us again." Then they left. Tao Tao was quiet. So this was the Shen family? Cold as ice. Not a single hug. Not even fruit. She pouted. "Poor Yanyan," she whispered. No wonder her spirit was so weak. But now she was Shen Yanyan. Or at least using her body. She had 2 tasks. 1, find the fallen peach. 2, fix the mess. And maybe eat some peaches along the way. Later that night, Tao Tao was discharged from the hospital and sent back to the Shen estate. A giant mansion with shiny floors and boring furniture. She was shown to her room at the far end of the hall. It was plain with a small bed and no warmth. She stood in the middle, frowning. This is worse than my cloud pod. She opened the closet. Only gray clothes. She checked under the bed. She opened the fridge. No peaches. Her scream echoed through the halls. The next morning, Tao Tao woke up early. She tied her hair into a high bun and wore a bright yellow dress she found buried at the back of the closet. It made her look like sunshine. She marched into the kitchen. The servants blinked at her. She never came here before. Where's the fruit? She asked. We only prepare it when Miss Shen Ruoyu asks, one said. That mean girl? I'm the youngest daughter. I want peaches. They stared at her like she'd grown a second head. He shrugged. Fine. I'll go to the market myself. 10 minutes later, Tao Tao was walking down the street in fuzzy slippers, holding a pink umbrella even though it wasn't raining. She passed by a small fruit shop. Peaches. Shiny, plump, and perfect. She ran forward, grabbed 2 and hugged them. I missed you. The shop owner blinked. Miss, you have to pay. Tao Tao tilted her head. Pay? Like, give you spirit stones. Spirit what? She frowned. Then remembered. No magic. No powers. She reached into Shen Yanyan's purse. Only 5 yuan. She put 1 peach back. Just this one then. She walked off happily munching her peach like it was the best thing in the world. Meanwhile, a black car pulled up outside the same shop. A tall man in a suit stepped out. Sharp eyes, cold face, handsome enough to freeze hearts. Lu Zhihao. He walked toward the shop, stopped and stared. A girl in a yellow dress was standing under a tree, holding a peach like a treasure. She had her eyes closed and a peaceful smile on her lips. A breeze lifted her hair. Petals from a nearby flower drifted around her. Something tugged in his heart. He didn't know why, but she looked like someone he had met long ago. Under a peach tree. Chapter 2, The Forgotten Shen Daughter. Shen Yanyan sat in the backseat of the family car with a peach in one hand and a strange sense of freedom bubbling in her chest. She wasn't really Shen Yanyan. She was Peach Fairy, a low-ranking immortal who had been kicked out of the heavenly peach orchard and tossed into this weak mortal body. And right now she was very interested in the flavor of this mortal peach. She hummed, taking another bite. Juicy but not nearly as spiritual. Still, I'll rate it 8 out of 10. The driver glanced at her through the mirror, clearly confused. Miss Shen, he said carefully, would you like to return to your room? My room is boring, she said with a pout. No trees. No peaches. And definitely no sparkly clouds. The driver didn't respond. What could he say? Ever since the fainting spell, Miss Shen Yanyan had been different. Brighter. Weirder. Back at the Shen estate, the grand double doors opened as they arrived. A line of servants stood silently, eyes lowered, as Yanyan walked through the hall, twirling the peach pit like a baton. Inside the living room, the rest of the Shen family was gathered. Shen Ruoyu, the oldest daughter, was dressed in elegant white, sipping tea as if she were on a drama set. She raised one perfect eyebrow as Yanyan skipped in, humming a tune about peaches being life's fuzzy blessings. Their father, Shen Jianhua, looked up from his phone and frowned. You went outside dressed like that? He asked. Yanyan looked down at her yellow dress. It's sunny and cheerful like me. Ruoyu snorted. It's wrinkled and cheap. I like cheap, Yanyan replied with a smile. More money left for peaches. Ruoyu narrowed her eyes. Are you mocking me? No. I'm being charming. Enough, their father said sternly. Yanyan, your behavior is unacceptable. What is this nonsense about talking to fruit and chanting in the hospital? Yanyan sat down on the couch and crossed her legs. I was blessing the peach, father. You can never be too kind to a fruit. The entire room went silent. Is this some kind of joke? He muttered. No, Yanyan said sweetly. But your face kind of is. Ruoyu gasped. Shen Jianhua stood up. Go to your room. No dinner for you tonight. Yanyan shrugged. That's fine. I still have half a peach. Then she skipped away, humming a tune that made no sense to anyone but her. Back in her room, Yanyan stared at her reflection. The girl in the mirror had pale skin, soft eyes, and a look of quiet sadness that didn't match the smile on her lips now. You were so lonely, she whispered to the former Yanyan. But don't worry. I'm here now. She opened the window, letting the wind in. I'll take care of this body. I'll make your life fun. You deserve better. The wind carried her promise into the night. The next morning, Peach Fairy Yanyan was on a mission. If she couldn't find her magical peach yet, she would at least start blending in with the mortal world. That meant learning everything. How to use strange machines, how to talk to humans, and most importantly, how to get snacks without money. She wandered through the Shen house, peeking into rooms. One door creaked open to reveal a study. Inside, a tall young man was reading a book. His glasses were perched on his nose, and his expression was serious. He looked up. Can I help you? Yanyan tilted her head. Are you the second brother? He blinked. I'm Shen Yanyan. You never speak to me. Well, I do now, she said, walking in and sitting on his desk. I'm new. You're what? Long story. Do you have Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi? Yes. I need to look up how to grow a spiritual peach tree using mortal soil. Yanyan stared at her. What happened to you? I woke up. Did you hit your head? Probably. Yanyan leaned in. Can you teach me how to use the net? I want to look up peach care and maybe where to find my missing fruit of destiny. Yanyan blinked. Then strangely he smiled a little. All right. I'll show you the basics. 2 hours later, Yanyan was sitting cross-legged on the floor with a laptop. She had learned about search engines, online shopping, and the horrifying world of reality TV. But most importantly, she had discovered an online store that sold fuzzy peach pajamas. This place is magical, she whispered. Even better than the cloud market. She added 10 items to her cart before Yanyan gently took the laptop away. Let's not max out your credit card on day one. But, fuzzy slippers. No. She sighed. You're no fun. Still, she was learning. And she felt proud. The old Yanyan had been afraid to speak, afraid to act. But this Yanyan? She was sunshine in a dress. That afternoon she strolled into the garden behind the house. It was well-trimmed, tidy and boring. She dropped to her knees and began digging a small hole with her hands. A servant ran over, panicked. Miss Shen, what are you doing? I'm planting hope. You're planting a pit. Exactly. All trees start with hope. And peaches. She placed the peach pit in the hole and covered it with dirt, patting it gently. Grow well, little one, she said. When you're tall enough, I'll climb you to see the stars again. The servant slowly backed away. Meanwhile, across the city in a high-rise office, Lu Zhihao stared at his computer screen. His assistant brought in reports, but he wasn't focused. Instead, he was thinking about the strange girl in yellow who had been holding a peach like it was treasure. She seemed familiar, he muttered. Sir. He waved the assistant away. That night, he pulled out an old photograph from his desk drawer. It showed a little boy under a peach tree in full bloom. And next to him, a girl. Not a human girl. Something else. Light surrounded her face and her eyes sparkled with gold. He had always thought it was a dream. A silly memory. But the girl in the photo looked an awful lot like the one he had just seen. Was it possible? Back at the Shen house, Yanyan stood on the balcony holding her hands out to the moon. Dear moon, please help me find my peach. Maybe a job. Or cookies. The moon said nothing. Rude, she mumbled. Then she looked down and smiled. Tomorrow she would go out again. The world was wide, strange, and full of snacks. And if she was lucky, maybe she'd find her missing peach. Or maybe, someone would find her first. Chapter 3, Spirit Fruit and Supermarkets. Shen Yanyan had one mission today. Find food. Find job. Find peach, she said seriously, standing in front of her mirror. She wore a bright pink hoodie with a peach emoji on the chest, jeans 2 sizes too big, held up with a belt she found in her brother's room, and glittery sneakers. She looked like a walking fruit mascot. Perfect. She headed downstairs. The housekeeper raised an eyebrow. Miss Shen, are you going out again? Yes. Yanyan gave a thumbs up. To the land of sparkling floors and fruit baskets. The place of miracles. You mean, the supermarket? Yes, she whispered reverently. The sacred temple of snacks. 30 minutes later, Yanyan stood in front of the biggest supermarket in the city. The glass doors slid open like magic. Shush. Ah. She sighed happily. It smells like possibility. She grabbed a shopping cart, but instead of pushing it, she climbed in and sat like a queen. Push me to the fruit section, she commanded dramatically. The elderly guard nearby gave her a confused look. Young lady, that's not how carts work. She pouted. Then I shall walk like a peasant. And so she marched through the aisles, grabbing peaches, apples, cookies, and something called instant noodles, which she had seen online. At the freezer section, she discovered peach-flavored ice cream. Her eyes sparkled. This world is amazing. She was halfway through inspecting a jar of peanut butter when a familiar voice spoke behind her. Miss Shen. Yanyan turned around slowly. It was him. The man from the hospital. The serious one with eyebrows that looked like they could slice bread. Lu Jihao, she said cheerfully. Are you following me? He looked surprised. You remember my name? Of course, she said. You have a face like a handsome villain in Immortal drama. Very memorable. He coughed. You're shopping alone? I'm shopping with Destiny. He raised an eyebrow. Is Destiny in your cart? She held up the peach ice cream. Close enough. He chuckled, then took a good look at her. Peach hoodie, sparkling shoes, and a cart full of sweets. You're very different now, he said. She nodded. Yes. The old Shen Yanyan cried in corners and waited for crumbs. The new Shen Yanyan eats peaches with pride. He smiled a little despite himself. Let me pay for your groceries. She tilted her head. Are you trying to buy my favor? No, he said quickly. It's just, you look like someone I used to know. Her eyes twinkled. Was she cute? She glowed, he said softly. Like sunlight. For a second Yanyan forgot how to breathe. Her soul stirred. I see, she said, her voice gentle. She must have been special. She was. They stood there, surrounded by frozen fish sticks and overly enthusiastic sale signs, caught in a strange moment. Then she smiled again. All right, Mr. Handsome Villain. You can pay. But only if you buy me peach milk too. Deal. Outside the store, he helped her pack her bags into a taxi. Thank you, she said brightly. You're nicer than I thought. You're stranger than I remember, he replied. Good strange or bad strange? He thought for a moment. Magical strange. She beamed. Then maybe we'll meet again. Fate is clingy like that. She waved as the taxi pulled away, leaving Lu Jihao standing on the curb with a shopping receipt and a heart that felt oddly warm. Back at the Shen estate, Ruyu watched Yanyan bounce into the house with bags of junk food. What is this? She demanded. You're not allowed to eat processed sugar. Says who? Yanyan replied. Father. Yanyan tossed her a cookie. Eat something sweet. It might fix your sour soul. Ruyu turned red. You've gone insane. Nope. I've gone happy. And with that she skipped upstairs. That night, Yanyan lay on her bed, licking peach ice cream and staring at the moon through her window. Dear moon, she said, I think I met someone today. He might know me from before. But I'm not sure if he remembers the real me. She scooped more ice cream. Anyway, thank you for peach milk. Very tasty. Downstairs her phone buzzed. A new message came in. Unknown number. You left your scarf at the supermarket. I have it. He grinned. Fate really is clingy. The next morning Yanyan had a new plan. Mission: find a job. After 20 minutes of job hunting on the internet and 10 minutes watching cat videos, she stumbled on something interesting. A small bubble tea shop downtown was hiring part-timers. Her eyes lit up. They sell peach tea. This must be destiny. She sent in her application with a selfie and the caption, I am fast, cheerful, and great with fruit. 2 hours later the owner called. You want to work here? Yes. Have you ever made drinks before? Nope. But I have passion. You're hired. The next day, Yanyan arrived for her first shift wearing a pink apron and a determined smile. Her coworker, a sleepy college student named Bo, handed her a drink shaker. Just don't mess up. I make no promises, she chirped. By the end of the shift she had spilled mango juice, handed a customer the wrong order, but smiled so brightly they didn't complain. and accidentally put basil seeds in a milk tea. Still, customers loved her. She's cute, one teenager said. Like a cartoon peach. Bo groaned. You're a walking fruit pun. Yanyan winked. I'm the juiciest hire you'll ever make. Later that week, Lu Zhihao walked into the bubble tea shop by accident. He had just finished a meeting and was looking for coffee, but a group of teenagers blocked the sidewalk, chanting, "Try the Peach Queen's special." He walked in and froze. Behind the counter was Yanyan, spinning a cup in one hand, peach syrup in the other, with her hair tied in two fluffy buns. "Next," she called before seeing him. "Oh. It's Mr. Handsome Villain." The entire shop turned to stare. He walked up awkwardly. "You work here now?" "Yup," she said proudly. "I'm a working peach now. Want something sweet?" He stared at the menu. "I'll have whatever you recommend." She made him a drink, writing LUZ in little hearts on the cup. "This one's called Peachy Destiny." He smiled. "Is it good?" "It's magic." He took a sip. It was good. Sweet, bright, a little strange, just like her. As he walked out, he looked back. She waved, still smiling. Something tugged at his chest. That night, Yanyan planted another peach pit in the garden. "One for the past," she said, pressing the soil. "And one for the maybe future." The moon watched silently. But maybe, just maybe, it was listening. Chapter 4. Shen Shen's Fan Club. Working at the bubble tea shop was not peaceful. It was chaos. Sweet, sugary, peach-flavored chaos. By the end of her first week, Shen Yanyan had burned her hand with hot milk. Gotten stuck in the storeroom because she forgot how doors work. Spilled tapioca pearls all over a customer's shoes. And accidentally made her coworker Bo famous on the shop's TikTok account. Still, the customers kept coming. Not for the tea. Not for the tapioca. For her. "She's Shen," one high school girl squealed, waving from the entrance. "You're working today, right?" Yanyan popped up behind the counter. "Always. Want your usual?" The girl nodded quickly. "One Peachy Destiny." Behind her, 3 boys awkwardly held gift bags. One had peach-scented hand cream. Another brought a plush peach toy. The third had a slightly bruised real peach. "For you," he mumbled, blushing. Yanyan gasped. "A gift from the Fruit Kingdom. Thank you, noble peach prince." The boys turned bright red. Bo, watching from the back, nearly choked on a straw. "You've created a fan club." Yanyan posed proudly. "They are my peach disciples." Bo pulled her aside during their break. "Be honest," he said, arms crossed. "Were you famous in your past life?" Yanyan blinked. I was considered rather charming among immortals." "Right. And I'm a cloud spirit." She tilted her head. "You do look soft." Bo groaned. At the end of the day, a familiar customer walked in. Tall, serious, and dressed in a crisp black suit. "Lu Zi," Yanyan called, waving. Lu Zhihao nodded, slightly flustered. "Just tea today." She leaned forward. "Work stress again?" He raised a brow. "How do you know?" "Your aura says, heavy deadlines, no lunch, secretly wants peach cake." "I do want cake." She handed him a drink. "Here." "No cake, but close enough." He looked at her. "You're always smiling." "I have to," she said brightly. "Sadness gives me wrinkles." He looked like he wanted to say something but just took a sip and nodded. The truth was, she was smiling more. This world was noisy, sticky, strange, and wonderful. And this man was interesting. Later that night, the shop owner called her in for a chat. "Yanyan," he said. "You've become popular." She nodded proudly. "I'm building the peach empire." He sighed. "Yes, well, the crowd is getting a bit much. People are coming just to stare at you. Ah, they like my vibe. They like your face. And your pink apron. And the fact that you name drinks like a fortune teller." He grinned. "That's branding." He rubbed his temples. "Hey, fine. You can stay. But no fan meets in the store, all right?" "No promises," she sang. Back at home, her sister Ruyu cornered her at breakfast. "You're working at a tea shop?" "Seriously?" "Yes," Yanyan said between mouthfuls of toast. "It's very fulfilling." "You're embarrassing the Shen family." Yanyan blinked. "Is working embarrassing? Or being happy?" Ruyu's jaw tightened. "People are laughing behind your back." "Then their backs must be loud," she said calmly. Ruyu left, fuming. Mrs. Shen, watching quietly from the side, gave her a long look. You're different, she said. Too happy. Yanyan tilted her head. Would you like to try being happy too? Mrs. Shen didn't reply. That weekend, Shen Yanyan went to the park to commune with nature. Eat peach buns under a tree. She had barely taken one bite when someone sat beside her. Busy schedule, Miss Peach? She looked up. Lucy. You followed me. He held up a bag. Coincidence. I walk here on weekends. Fate, she said with a wink. They sat under the cherry blossoms, pink petals floating down like snow. I heard you're popular now, he said, amused. Yes. I'm a fruit celebrity. He laughed. A real one. Warm and light. She watched him curiously. You're smiling more these days. Maybe you're contagious. She offered him a bun. Want a bite? He hesitated, then took one. It's peach, she whispered. He rolled his eyes. I figured. They sat in silence a while. Finally he said, Why are you so kind to everyone? Even those who don't deserve it. He shrugged. Because I've seen the end of things. When you fall from the clouds, even mud feels like treasure. He looked at her, not fully understanding but wanting to. You talk like someone from another world, he said softly. She smiled. Maybe I am. That night he messaged her. Thanks for the bun. You're strange but good strange. Yanyan. You're welcome. You're uptight but soft inside. Like steamed bread. Thank you. Yanyan. Also don't forget. You owe me peach cake. Fine. One cake. Yanyan. Make it two. Fate is hungry. And somewhere in the garden another peach seed bloomed. A soft pink sprout under moonlight. Fate, it seemed, was growing roots. Chapter 5. Peach Cake Promises. The next time Lu Zhihao came to the bubble tea shop, he didn't order a drink. Instead he stood at the counter, eyes focused, voice serious. I'm here to pick up Miss Shen Yanyan. Bo behind the counter looked alarmed. For arrest. For cake, Lu Zhihao replied coolly. Yanyan peeked out from the back, covered in flour and boba syrup. Did someone say cake? Lu Zhihao nodded. You asked for peach cake. I'm taking you to the best bakery in the city. Yanyan gasped. So this is what a date looks like. Lu Zhihao blinked. It's not a... Let's go, she cheered, grabbing her coat. Bo watched them leave. It's definitely a date. The bakery was bright, cozy, and smelled like sugar dreams. Yanyan pressed her face to the glass display. So many cakes, she whispered. Do mortals always live like this? Most don't eat 5 in one sitting. We'll see. They sat by the window with 2 slices of peach cream cake and 2 cups of milk tea. Yanyan took a bite and made a small, happy noise. It's like biting into a cloud. Lu Zhihao smiled at her reaction. Glad you like it. She looked at him. You keep doing this. Doing what? Looking at me like I'm a puzzle. He paused. Because I can't figure you out. That's the fun part, she said. I'm like peach-flavored mystery. They walked through the park after, the air cool and soft with spring. Lu Zhihao cleared his throat. There's something I wanted to ask. Go on, she said, skipping a little. That day in the hospital, when you woke up, you were talking about spirit roots. Rebirth. Stars. Were you serious? She stopped walking. The cherry blossoms above them fluttered gently in the breeze. Yanyan turned to him, smiling. Would you believe me if I said yes? I don't know. She stepped closer, looking up at him. I'll tell you the truth. But not all at once. Some stories are best tasted slowly. Like cake. He stared at her for a long moment. Then nodded. All right. One bite at a time. He grinned. Then you'll need more cake. The next day the fan club returned to the bubble tea shop in full force. Shen Shen, one girl shouted. Your peachy destiny drink went viral. Yanyan blinked. What's viral? Do I need medicine? Bo groaned. It means you're famous. Again. Turns out someone had filmed her making drinks and uploaded it online with the caption. Bubble tea fairy. Is she even real? Now people were lining up outside the store just to see her. Some brought peach-themed gifts. Others asked for photos. One person even proposed marriage using a peach ring candy. Yanyan accepted the candy but declined the proposal. I'm married to tea right now, she explained. Bo rolled his eyes. You need a manager. At lunch, she found a quiet spot behind the shop and pulled out her phone. There was a new message from Lu Zhihao. Did you eat today? Yanyan. Yes. 4 buns and a fan gift. What kind of gift? Yanyan. Someone drew me as a peach warrior riding a jellyfish. I won't ask. Yanyan. You're learning. Proud of you. When's your next break? Yanyan. Tomorrow. Why? I'm kidnapping you for something peaceful. No sugar. No fans. Just air and quiet. Yanyan. You're terrible at surprises. But okay. I accept my fate. The next day, Yanyan found herself standing at the edge of a hill covered in golden grass. Lu Zhihao brought her to a hiking trail on the city's edge. He looked around. This is nice. He handed her a water bottle. You always say you want to breathe fresh air. She smiled. You remembered. They walked together slowly. No one around. Just wind, birds, and soft grass underfoot. You know, she said, in my old life I never walked like this. Too busy flying? Too busy being important. Lu Zhihao glanced at her. Do you miss it? She was quiet. Then, sometimes. But not as much as I thought. Here I can laugh. Here I can eat cake. He chuckled. They reached the top of the hill. The city spread below them like a silver puzzle. Yanyan sat on the grass. I like being unknown. It's peaceful. He sat beside her. You're not unknown anymore. She gave him a sidelong glance. Is that a compliment or a warning? Both. As the sun began to dip, painting the sky orange and gold, she rested her head on her knees. You know, she said softly, the last time I sat under a sunset I was about to ascend. Everyone was crying. And now I'm just here. With you. Watching the sky. He didn't say anything. But he reached over and gently brushed a leaf from her hair. Yanyan blinked. Her heart did a small, slow flip. Lu Zhihao cleared his throat. Sorry. Leaf. Oh. She smiled. Thank you, noble leaf knight. He looked away, ears slightly red. That night she stared at her phone for a long time. Then sent one message. Yanyan. Next time I'll make you tea. My kind of tea. No sugar. Just starlight. Deal. And far away in a quiet garden, the peach seed she planted grew another inch taller. Chapter 6. Tea Under the Stars. The Shen family mansion was quiet that evening. Too quiet. Shen Yanyan tiptoed through the halls like a peach thief on a secret mission. Her target? The back garden. In her arms, a small bamboo box filled with dried herbs, tiny blossoms, and something glowing faintly. A pinch of starlight she'd secretly called down 2 nights ago. Old habits die hard even for a lesser immortal. She reached the garden just as Lu Zhihao stepped through the side gate. You came, she said, smiling. I said I would. He was holding a thermos and a small bag. What's that? She asked. Snacks. I don't come to tea parties empty-handed. Yanyan beamed. You're learning, disciple. I'm not your disciple. You brought snacks. Fine. I'm your disciple. They set everything down on a stone bench under the plum tree. The sky above was deep blue, scattered with silver stars. Yanyan moved like she'd done it 1,000 times. Hands graceful, quiet concentration on her face as she poured hot water into a clay teapot. Lu Zhihao watched her, fascinated. This isn't bubble tea, he said. She shook her head. This is real tea. From before your world had plastic cups and sugary foam. What's in it? Star jasmine, blue peach blossom, a hint of mountain wind, and 1 grain of stardust. He raised a brow. Magic. She winked. Or very good storytelling. The tea was light, fragrant, and warm. It didn't taste like anything he'd had before. It didn't taste like earth. More like sky, wind, and something soft he couldn't name. He closed his eyes. This is not bad, right? He nodded slowly. It tastes like a memory I've never had. She laughed quietly. That's the idea. They sat in silence for a while, sipping. Yanyan looked up at the stars, her voice soft. I used to think I was important because people feared me. Because I had power. But now. She placed her cup down. Now I think, maybe it's more important to make tea for someone. To be remembered for warmth instead of lightning. Lu Zhihao turned to her. You really were an immortal, weren't you? She gave a small smile. Lesser immortal. I wasn't famous. I wasn't feared. I just glowed quietly in the corner of the sky. He didn't laugh. Instead he said, I believe you. She blinked. You do. You're too strange not to be telling the truth. Yanyan burst into laughter. That's the nicest insult I've ever received. After the tea she took out a tiny wooden flute. Want to hear something old? He nodded. The melody was soft like a breeze over water. It tugged at something deep in his chest. Something gentle, something sad. When she finished he asked, Did you play that in your past life? Yes, she said. Usually when someone died. He stared at her. Don't worry, she added quickly. I'm not cursing you. That was a happy version. He chuckled. Good to know. Suddenly Lu Zhihao reached into his bag and pulled something out. A small wobbly cake in a paper box. What's this? She gasped. Homemade peach cake. She looked at him like he'd just revealed hidden wings. You baked. Tried. She opened the box. The cake was lopsided, slightly burned at the bottom and still adorable. He took a bite. Then paused dramatically. Well, it's horrible, she said. He blinked. But it's made with effort and kindness. So it's the best cake I've ever eaten. He laughed. You're not honest. I'm immortal. I'm kind. Later, as they packed up and stood under the stars, Yanyan tilted her head. Zhihao, she said, do you think people can fall in love slowly? He looked at her. Yes, he said simply. Okay. It brews best with time. She smiled. Good answer. He walked her back to the mansion gate. Before she went in he hesitated. Yanyan. Yes. You said you glowed quietly, in the corner of the sky? She nodded. He looked at her for a long time then whispered, You still do. And then he was gone. Inside Shinruyu stood by the window watching. She'd seen them. Heard the laughter. Watched the warmth on her sister's face. Ruyu's eyes narrowed. That girl, the useless Yanyan, was changing. Getting attention. Getting him. Ruyu picked up her phone. It was time to remind everyone who the real star of the Shen family was. But outside, under the stars, Yanyan's little peach sprout swayed in the wind. And somewhere in the sky an old star flickered, smiling. Chapter 7. The Rumor Storm. The next morning Shen Yanyan woke up humming. She made her bed, fed the tiny peach sprout in a teacup by the window and skipped downstairs. Life was peachy. Morning, father, she said brightly, passing old Master Shen at the dining table. He looked up, blinking in surprise. You're unusually cheerful. I had tea under the stars. Very good for the soul. Madame Shen looked suspicious. Did you eat something strange again? Yes. Peach cake made by a very kind man with very little baking skill. Madame Shen dropped her spoon. Shin Ruyu choked on her kanji. What man? Ruyu asked, trying to sound casual. Yanyan sat down. Oh, just Lu Zhihao. The whole room went quiet. The Lu Zhihao? Madame Shen asked sharply. The police officer? Old Master Shen added. Yanyan smiled. That's the one. He makes terrible cake but listens to flute music. I like him. Ruyu stood up so fast her chair screeched. I'm going to be late for work. She was already texting under the table. By noon the bubble tea shop was buzzing. But not from drinks. From rumors. Did you hear? A girl whispered. Shen Yanyan used to chase Lu Zhihao. He only pitied her. I heard she tricked him into a fake date, another added. They said she was pretending to be sweet to get attention. Bo slammed a cup down. If anyone else says one more lie, I'll ban you from tea forever. But the whispers kept coming. And by evening even Yanyan could feel it. Less smiles. More side eyes. A few customers asked loudly, Where's the real Shen daughter? The pretty one. Yanyan didn't react. She just kept making drinks. But when she went to the back room she sat down and stared at the floor for a while. That night she didn't answer Lu Zhihao's texts. The next morning she skipped breakfast. Madame Shen didn't notice. Ruyu did. She smiled to herself. Lu Zhihao finally came to the bubble tea shop himself. Bo folded his arms. She's upstairs. Won't come down. He nodded and climbed the stairs. Yanyan was sitting on the floor, still in her apron, holding a cup of melted boba. You came, she said softly. I always come, he replied. Why didn't you answer? She didn't look up. Everyone's talking about me. I don't belong here. I was supposed to glow quietly. Not mess up someone's reputation. Lu Zhihao crouched down in front of her. Is that what you think this is? He shrugged. I'm not real in this world. Just a borrowed soul in a weak girl's body. No power, no magic. Just peach crumbs. He reached out and gently held her hand. Yanyan. You're very real. You made my bad cake taste like the best thing in the world. You brewed me tea that felt like a dream. You're more alive than anyone I know. She looked at him, eyes wide. I don't care what people say, he said. I care what you do next. He sniffled. You're giving a very good speech. Is this practice? No. I'm bad at speeches. But I'm good at showing up. Yanyan squeezed his hand. Then stay a little longer. The next day she returned to work with a ribbon in her hair and a new drink recipe. It was called Starlight Peach. People lined up again, curious then delighted. A food blogger tried it and said, it's like falling in love through a cup. The rumors faded slowly. Lu Zhihao started picking her up after work. They walked through markets and ate street food. Yanyan bought a pink umbrella for sun defense. Zhihao said, it's not even sunny. She replied, but now I can twirl it dramatically. Watch. He laughed. You're impossible. He grinned. That means I'm doing it right. One night as they walked home under the moonlight, Yanyan stopped suddenly. What is it? He asked. She looked up at him. You're not scared, are you? Of what? That I might leave one day. He was silent. Then he said, I think about it. But I'd rather have you now than never. Yanyan smiled. You're getting wise, my disciple. You taught me, he said. And for a moment they simply stood there, two small people under a giant sky, glowing quietly together. But elsewhere in the city, Shen Ruoyu met with a sharp-faced woman in a dark cafe. She's getting too popular, the woman said. What do you want us to do? Ruoyu's voice was cold. Find out where she really came from. And destroy it. Chapter 8 The Past Returns. Shen Yanyan was sweeping peach petals off the front steps of the bubble tea shop when the wind changed. It wasn't just a breeze. It was old wind, thick with clouds and whispers, like the breath of a forgotten mountain. She froze, broom in hand. No, she muttered. Not now. Just then Bo leaned out the doorway. Hey, there's a weird man in a robe asking for you. Yanyan dropped the broom. Oh no. Inside, sitting at a table with a very confused customer, was a man with long silver hair, a fan made of crane feathers, and floating shoes that hovered slightly above the ground. He looked bored. Shen Yanyan, he said in a deep voice, your vacation is over. Bo blinked. He just floated through the door like a feather. Should I call someone? No, Yanyan groaned. He's harmless. Just dramatic. Lu Zhihao, who had just arrived with his usual iced latte, stared at the floating man. Do I need to arrest him? The man looked Zhihao up and down. This is your mortal boy toy? Yanyan stepped between them. Zhihao, this is Immortal Yun. And this is Zhihao. Be polite. Yun fanned himself. You vanished, little cloud. The celestial realm is buzzing. They think you turned into a frog. I almost did, Yanyan muttered. But then I met him. Yun sighed. This world has nothing for you. Return and I'll personally restore your minor glowing privileges. Zhihao looked confused. What is happening? Yanyan turned to him looking nervous. I didn't want to tell you this yet, but I wasn't kidding about the immortal part. I figured, he said calmly. She blinked. You did. You once made a teacup float into someone's purse. Yun raised a brow. So he's seen your magic? Zhihao nodded. She also speaks to plants. And one time she whispered at the moon. Yun looked impressed. You picked a smart one. The tea shop was now watching with wide eyes. Bo whispered, is this a cosplay event? Yanyan sighed and led Yun outside. Zhihao followed. In the alley behind the shop, Yun got serious. Little cloud, the realms are shifting. If you don't return soon, your essence may burn out. Yanyan crossed her arms. I like it here. You're not human. I'm happy. Yun shook his head. What about your soul cycle? Your starlight duties? I'll pass. Give my cloud to someone else. Yun looked at Zhihao. Is this truly worth your eternal glow? Zhihao stepped forward. She can glow here too. Yanyan blushed. Yun sighed again, folding his fan. Fine. But if your energy dims, you will disappear. And I won't be able to stop it. With that, he vanished into the wind. They sat on the steps after, drinking tea in silence. You okay? Hao asked. Yanyan nodded. I knew this would happen someday. I just hoped it wouldn't be now. He looked at her. Will you disappear? He tried to smile. Not if I rest, avoid high-level magic and drink lots of bubble tea. I can help with that. She nudged his arm. I know. That night she lay in bed staring at the ceiling. The stars outside flickered in soft waves. She touched her chest lightly where a soft warmth pulsed under her skin. The glow was dimmer than before. He knew. Time was running shorter. But she also knew something else. Love was louder than light. And she had no plans to leave just yet. The next morning, Shinruyu smiled to herself as she scrolled through photos her hired spy had taken. Yanyan talking to a floating man. Yanyan's hands glowing faintly. The tea shop lights flickering unnaturally. She tapped her screen. I knew it, she whispered. He called someone. I want these pictures sent to every gossip blog in the city. Title it, Shin Family's Useless Daughter Claims to be a Fairy. The voice on the other end said, on it. But Shen Yanyan was already preparing. She made new posters, organized a tea tasting event, and decorated the shop with tiny paper stars. She smiled as she poured the first cup of her new drink, Glow Berry Breeze. Bo tasted it and said, this is the best one yet. She looked toward the door. Jihao walked in holding an umbrella. Evening, Cloud Girl. Evening, Moon Man. Big scandal coming, he said. I know. Scared. She thought for a moment. Then smiled. No. I've survived thunderstorms. I think I can handle a few blog posts. But across the city, a phone screen lit up. Photos. Rumors. Comments. And a storm was coming. One that could either end Shen Yanyan's second life, or begin the brightest chapter yet. Chapter 9, The Scandal Blossoms. The scandal broke at sunrise. Shen Yanyan's face was everywhere. On gossip blogs, news apps, even meme accounts. Bubble tea fairy? Shen family's crazy daughter claims to be an immortal. Magical tea or marketing stunt? There were photos of her glowing fingers, a blurry video of Yun floating, and quotes twisted to sound wild. Yanyan didn't panic. She sipped her peach oolong and turned her phone upside down. Bo, however, was screaming. We're doomed. Customers will think we're fakes or witches or weird cult tea sellers. Jihao calmly stirred his drink. Let them come. I'll arrest anyone who gets too noisy. Bo blinked. You'll arrest customers? No, Jihao said. But I'll look very serious until they back down. Customers did come. Lots of them. Some laughed. Some filmed. A few rude ones asked Yanyan to do tricks or summon rainbows. Yanyan just smiled and handed them their tea. Then a little girl tugged on her sleeve. Are you a real fairy? Yanyan knelt. What do you think? The girl whispered, I think yes. Yanyan winked. Then that makes two of us. Upstairs, Madame Shen nearly fainted. She's brought shame to the family. Magic? Glowing tea? People are laughing. Old Master Shen cleared his throat. Actually, the shop's doing very well. But she's embarrassing us. She's earning money. She's not fighting with Ruyu. And she glows in a nice way. Madame Shen looked ready to scream. Ruyu in her room stared at her phone in horror. Her plan had backfired. Yanyan wasn't being mocked, she was trending. Her tea was going viral. Even worse. Lu Jihao had just posted a photo of her. Cloud Girl, anyone else? With a peach emoji. Ruyu threw her phone across the bed. That afternoon a reporter arrived. I'm from Starview Media, she said. Can we interview the magical tea girl? Bo looked at Yanyan. He shrugged. Why not? The reporter asked questions while sipping Starlight Peach. Yanyan answered simply, her voice calm. Yes, I believe in beauty and peace. No, I don't turn into a swan. Yes, our tea is made with care and love and just a little sparkle. The reporter blinked. Are you saying magic is real? Yanyan smiled. Some people think love isn't real either, but it still makes the world better. The article was published the next morning. Meet Shen Yanyan, the bubble tea fairy, healing a city with kindness. It went viral again. Fans arrived wearing flower crowns and fairy wings. One group asked her to bless their cups. She whispered something into each lid. May your heart be light. May your boba never sink. They left beaming. Later, while closing up, Zhihao sat beside her on the shop steps. You handled that well, he said. Storms don't scare me, she replied. Not after living through Immortals, sword fights and 7 failed peach trees. He laughed. I knew you were special the moment you told my neighbor her cactus had feelings. She smiled. It does. His name is Greg. He turned serious. You know, you've become something more than just a mystery girl now. You've made people feel warm. Yanyan looked up at the stars. I think that's what I was meant to do all along. But deep in the Shen household, Ruoyu wasn't finished. She met with the same sharp-faced woman from before. This isn't working, she hissed. Yanyan's turning into a local hero. The woman nodded. Then it's time to dig deeper. Where exactly did your sister come from before she woke up? Ruoyu's eyes narrowed. She collapsed in a field. No memory. Just wandered home one day. The woman smirked. Then we'll find out who she really was before. The next day, someone left a strange letter in Yanyan's mailbox. She opened it slowly. Inside was one sentence. We know you're not Shen Yanyan. Her hands trembled slightly. Zhihao saw the letter. What does it mean? She looked up at him, eyes calm. It means the wind is changing again. Chapter 10. Peach Girl Forever. The letter felt like a small storm in Shen Yanyan's hands. We know you're not Shen Yanyan. She looked at Lu Zhihao, who was leaning casually against the doorframe. Who would know? And why? He gave her a soft smile. People notice when someone shines a little differently. Yanyan sighed. I guess my secret's out sooner or later. The days that followed were a whirlwind. The media picked up on the mysterious letter. Rumors turned into wild theories. Some said she was a runaway princess. Others guessed she was a secret agent with magic powers. Yanyan just kept working. Pouring tea, smiling at customers and letting her heart glow. Zhihao never left her side. One evening, as the sun painted the sky peach and pink, Yanyan stood on the shop's rooftop. Zhihao joined her, carrying 2 cups of tea. To the peach girl, he said, handing her a cup. She laughed softly. That sounds like a superhero name. He grinned. It is. Because you save people with kindness, not powers. She looked at him, feeling the warmth of the moment. I was scared to lose this world, she admitted. He took her hand. You won't lose it. Not while I'm here. That night, Yanyan decided to visit the quiet hill where she had first awakened in this body. The moon was high, shining like a gentle lantern. She closed her eyes, feeling the soft breeze. The glow inside her pulsed gently, not from magic but from love, hope and life. She whispered, I choose this. I choose here. Back at the shop, she found a small package waiting. Inside was a delicate peach blossom hairpin and a note. For the girl who blooms where she's planted. Yun. Yanyan smiled, tears prickling. She pinned the blossom in her hair and looked in the mirror. This was her reflection now. The next morning, Shin Ruoyu arrived at the shop with a forced smile. I came to talk, she said. Yanyan nodded calmly. I'm listening. Ruoyu sighed. I was wrong about you. You're not just the useless daughter. You're someone brave. Yanyan reached out and took her sister's hand. Let's start over. Ruoyu blinked, then smiled for the first time in a long while. Weeks passed. The bubble tea shop was busier than ever. Yanyan and Zhihao's laughter echoed through the streets. One day Zhihao surprised her with a small box. Inside was a simple ring made of peach wood. Not a promise ring, he said. Just a reminder. That no matter what happens I'm here. Yanyan slipped it on, her heart full. Under the sky full of stars, the little immortal turned peach girl lived fully. No longer afraid of fading away, she knew that love and kindness made any life immortal. And with Lu Zhihao by her side she was finally home. The